Hi, and welcome to the SEO podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. My name is Chris Burris, owner of eWebStyle.
I am Charles Lewis, your Internet Marketing Specialist.
Welcome back to another fun-filled edition of our podcast. As you can see, this is podcast number 241. If you're listening, you can't see that, so disregard the C part. It is still podcast 241, though. So that still holds. As always, there is a tip from our previous podcast, and our tip is make sure your content and graphics communicate the same message.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit more today, but at the end of the day, you want your content and the artwork you're using in that content to have some continuity, right? Like you can't have, I don't know, this kind of very structured and corporate sort of graphics and artwork that you're using, but your content is written in the voice that's urban and not really, compliant to what you're visually supplying.
Yeah.
You want your content and the artwork to resonate with each other, so that way when people read it, the content, the images actually improve the content and make it an easier read, give it a better flow and some continuity. What you don't want is a distraction. Like, hey, this is kind of like getting an album cover,
Right.
And it's full of drugs and everything else, but it's a gospel album, right? Just don't really make sense.
Yeah.
And so make sure your artwork and your visuals, all your visuals, whether it's graphics, whether it's video, whether it's background images, whether it's ads, make sure they're consistent with the content.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. You don't need a gospel album full of drugs on the cover. Please remember, we are first broadcasting live in Houston,
Yes.
and we are your friendly local neighborhood top position snatchers,
Yes.
where our mantra is,
Don't be a douche.
if you can tweet now, you can get into the
Just
conversation.
finish doing my part. You do your part. Hashtag SEO Podcast. This is number 241. Be sure to tag us in it at Best SEO Podcast at eWebStyle. That way we can follow you back, do all of our social networking stuff, and punch you in the face. That's a good thing.
Yeah, punch in the face is a good thing. You want one of those. There are a couple of ways you can help us if you get good content out of this. If this is your second podcast, don't wait till the third podcast.
Yeah.
Go back, download all the others, and before you listen to them, you can do one of three things. One of them has three things. All you need to do is go onto iTunes, create an account, and write a review. Once you write that review, if you choose to, you can send us an email,
podcast@e-webstyle.com.
let us know you wrote a review, and hopefully you'll give us 5 stars. Next, you can go to our G Plus local account. We've made that incredibly easy. Google makes it complicated. We make it easy. All you have to do is go to e-webstyle.com /
Google Plus.
or slash
Google Plus.
or slash
G Plus.
or slash.
G Plus.
And when you get there, there's a number of things you can do. One of them, write us a 5-star
Review. Second thing you do, put us in a circle and give us a +1. Right,
Yeah.
we're trying to get our pluses and reviews equaled out. So yeah, do all of those in that order. +1 circle, write a review.
And if you've already written a review, go back, check out that page, and +1 us, because we've got like 45 reviews and 30 pluses. It's just a little out of whack. Next, you can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com /
eWebstyle.
and there's always it's pretty easy to find. You look for the stars, you click on the stars, you can write a review. Again, hopefully you'll give us a 5-star review.
Yeah, write a review, leave us a question, all of that kind of stuff. We'll address it here live.
Here live, absolutely. Next, you can go, if you're using Stitcher to listen to our podcast.
Yes.
Again, I haven't done the research yet from that podcast, and I have the app is actually on my phone. We're pretty sure that while you're listening to the podcast, you could write a review.
Yeah.
If we wrote the app, that's how it would work. And go ahead and give us a 5-star review, because we're
Trying to get our reviews up on Stitcher.
Yeah, up where they need to be. And let's just talk about how you can connect with us. There's a whole myriad of ways. We've already covered some of them. We will cover some of them again. Facebook.com /
eWebstyle.
Twitter.com /
eWebstyle.
YouTube.com /
eWebstyle.
Instagram.com /
eWebstyle.
and you can always send us an email, podcast@
e-webstyle.com.
If you're an incredibly talented PHP programmer and WordPress extraordinaire dude, and you're interested in working with us, just give us a call.
Call the number.
Yep, 713-510-7846. We do have a referral program. You send us a customer, they pay their bill, we pay you. That's pretty simple. If you're looking for a website analysis for you or one of your customers, go ahead and hit us up. Get to our web page or our Facebook page. We should probably make a pretty easy link on the Facebook page. We haven't done that yet, so go to our homepage, e-webstyle.com, and you'll find over on the right and kind of in the middle, you can't really miss it, is submit for a website analysis.
Yeah.
And we will get back to you. Now, for our segment, the algorithm cataclysm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I almost spilled my coffee.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
With no vibrations. I don't know how that happens. So we got a lot of algo cat today, a lot of algorithm cataclysm today, because it's been a busy week across multiple platforms. So let's start here at Google. With Google Places, another change, right?
Great.
So remember they went from Google Places to Google Local, then they decided to bring Plus into it, and so then it was Google Local Plus, and then you ended up with like a Google Plus page, and then the Google Local Plus page,
right,
and all this kind of stuff. Scratch all of that. Now they're rolling out Google My Business.
Okay.
Google My Business, and this is really a merged version of the Local Plus page, and so your Local Plus page isn't there anymore. Once they rolled out Google My Business, you'll log in. Process is kind of the same.
Right.
You still have to identify your company by address or phone. You find it, you claim it, you verify it, and then you can manage it. But the interface is different, the layout is different, the page looks different. How you update the page and make those changes, like adding hours of operation, videos, all of that stuff is a little bit more prominent. And so it looks promising. What I'm hoping that the end all fix is that the confusion between managing multiple local Google products goes away.
Yeah.
And if indeed that's the case, awesome.
Yeah.
And so so punch in the face to you guys if it works out that way. So,
and if not,
exactly, kick you in the shin. So yeah, Google My Business, check that out, especially if you're a local business. Oh, cool thing about that, they've specifically added a section for non-local businesses that can provide a service in a specific area.
Okay, that makes sense. Good.
Interested.
Good.
Necessary.
Let's see how they handle that, though.
Exactly.
One of the challenges.
Are you going to give a priority to the local business, or the big brand?
You're right. One of the challenges is exactly what you're talking about. There are a limited number of spaces. I mean, even with the Google 7-pack, A through G, that added some number of spaces because they took a few away from the original 10. So now you got 17, maybe. And so even with that, you've only got 17 spots on the first page. Not counting the pay-per-click ads, of course. And so which ones do you show? Like depending on the size of the city, there are a ton of plumbers who could come to this office. Like literally there's probably 100
just in the zip code
that could come to here and fix it. So how does Google, express that? And we all know a small business that does
by
great
reviews
work.
And by plus ones and by links and by everything else.
I was actually just talking with a customer last week about, they had a product out. Actually, what they were selling was training, so like computer training, Cisco router training and stuff. And they said because of Google's configuration of their searches with regard to computer training, meaning no local searches, right? Because you can do computer training anywhere.
Yeah.
What if you prefer local? Then you got to make it a local search.
You got to tag it Houston or
in Houston, right? And he said that destroyed his business. He said he was doing okay, and then dunsies. So yeah, it's a fine balance.
So some more algo cat, right? YouTube made huge change.
Okay,
huge change this week.
They stopped showing video.
Kinda. Kinda. So what they did was they changed their terms of service because they're rolling out a streaming service. But it's targeting music videos for like indie labels. And so if you're an indie label and you have tons of music videos on YouTube, YouTube wants to license them in order so you can get paid and they can get paid instead of just showing it free. Right? Problem is, most of the indie labels don't want to get a license up. Don't want to have somebody take a cut off of my music that I've worked so hard to produce. And so YouTube's like, okay, well, we're just going to pull the videos. And so
so if they can't get licenses to it,
they're going to pull the video.
So probably the step one, change licensing when you upload videos. All of them are turning over some rights to YouTube.
Step two, go back and read terms of service. and either check or decide not to check that box and understand how that's going to affect your label, right? And so, what's bound to happen is the big labels, the majors, who won't have a problem with their licensing at all, will likely have a spike in video shows because their content will be probably easier to get to.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, that's big. So one more, got two more.
Right.
Algo Cat, we're still in algorithm cataclysm.
Algorithm cataclysm.
So Bing.
Bing. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Haven't heard about Bing anymore.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure Bing had an algorithm. Right?
That's cool.
Yeah, that's
and
kind
by
of
the
cool.
way,
we be over there next week.
We
didn't mean that. That was a joke.
We can say that today. We will not be saying that next week. We're actually going to be broadcasting our podcast live from the Microsoft store that's opening up here in Houston. So that's kind of exciting. They've invited us to do that.
So Bing rolled out Bing Catapult.
Okay.
It's kind of a comparison to Google Caffeine. And so what they're saying is this is going to allow faster indexing, faster searches, and more relevant results based on the search query in Bing. So punch in the face to you guys, Bing Catapult.
Yep.
Hopefully that works. Hopefully your results get better, and we'll take it from there.
You start taking market share.
Last Algo Cat is that probably won't happen.
Yeah. just like it probably won't.
Yeah.
At least not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow, exactly. Or next Friday. Android Music. So all our Android users.
Yep.
Right, all our Android users.
Whoop, whoop.
If you do a Google search for an artist, and I tested it before I wrote this, right? So I go here, I search, T.I., King of the South, one of my favorite artists, right? Search him, and then what happens if you do a search for an artist on an Android device, your results will include links to whatever apps that you have installed on your device that can play music from that artist. So what happened was when I searched for T.I., my Play Music app showed up.
You got Play
Spotify,
showed up,
and I should do the search again because there was one more that opened up.
Pandora, maybe.
Pandora opened up, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool. Do I want to play music I already have? Right? Listen to some stuff I don't know, or check out something new." So I think that's an awesome update. What's interesting is I'm assuming that'll eventually somehow tie into this YouTube thing. Yeah, that's an app everybody has.
Right.
Or if YouTube would just start streaming me T.I. music, kind of cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, punch in the face to Android and Google and all the developers over there. That's a great app, and my assumption is that probably came from people already doing it.
Right. They just noticed that they were automatically going to
to a certain app, and so reduce a few clicks and make it easier to do.
Well, it may tie into this because this is one of Google's goals, and I just read it, and I think it was with respect to this kind of technology, this next step, is what Google's really going to accomplish on an Android device for now is when you're doing searches, if their relevant results could actually be found in an app, then they're going to give you potentially even a deep link to that app. And so this is just like as soon as you get that concept in mind, like step one, people search for music, link to apps that can play music. Step two, right? So it's probably all tied into that initiative. Very cool stuff.
Yeah, so that was our Algo Cat, man.
Cool, that was awesome. All right, so we've got, you'll notice no tier tattoo.
I was happy.
I almost removed one. There were only 2 reviews though, so I decided that it wasn't time to remove a tier tattoo. The first one is from John Edward Burt. He actually figured out, because we keep just kind of roughly describing where it is on Facebook. He figured out where it was, and he gave us a 5-star review. He says, have been listening to the podcast for some time now. Felt I owed you the review. My site is first page, and you guys have a lot to do with it.
Thank you. Face to you.
He didn't include a site, John. Otherwise I would have mentioned it. So, John, thank you. Punch in the face.
I'm glad we could help.
All right, next. This one was, and like I said, that was on Facebook. This one was actually in iTunes. And this is from livingroomdanceparty.com.
Livingroomdanceparty.com.
Okay, right. If you're going to read just one review, read this 5-star review. So that's I kind of like that title. These guys are fantastic and easy to listen to. It's clear that they are uber intelligent.
Uber.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And well versed on SEO strategies. But they are able to convey those strategies in terms and ways that even two parents on the backside of 30 struggling to learn the ropes with their own businesses can understand. Even their older podcasts are as relevant today as they were when they first aired. If Chris and Charles ever visited Pittsburgh, I would spring for Primanti's and an Iron City. Thank you.
I'll take it.
Thank you.
It sounds like it's probably an awesome meal.
Meal and beer. Iron City. We'll go with that. But since the meeting will likely never happen, hey, don't. You just offered us a beer. We already booked our tickets. I would like to say a sincere thank you for selflessly giving of yourselves and sharing your vast knowledge on SEO. Man.
Punch in the face. I said, long distance across the country, Pittsburgh, punch in the face.
Living room dance party. In fact, we'll do it a Iron City punch in the face.
Iron City?
How about an Iron City crack over the head?
Awesome.
All right, that was our reviews. Excellent.
I got a patif. This patif goes to Millie. She's at S Spring Design. She says, catching up on at eWebstyle and their podcast while writing out tomorrow's blog post. Hashtag small biz. Punch in the face to you. Appreciate you following us and tuning in and everything.
And hitting us up. That's awesome. All right, so a little bit of news. Android and Windows to add kill switches to their phones. That's so your phone gets stolen. You can kill everything.
I don't even want a kill switch. I want a self-destruct.
Yeah, I want to kill whoever's holding my phone.
Yeah, just no warning. Just this phone will blow up in 3, 2, 1. You know.
And then take pictures and upload them while it's counting down because you want to surface like, oh shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm looking for.
Lego fuses physical and virtual gameplay. It's kind of cool, so you could be playing with Lego pieces and take pictures and then incorporate it, and then so now you've got you can imagine you've got already Legos are so. I remember the day when Legos didn't even come with instructions. It's like here's your blocks, stick
the tub full of stuff.
Stick it together, make something. Yeah. And now, like, they're little tiny pieces, and you really need the directions. It makes sense to have the directions on your touch device, right? Your iPad or whatever. You can zoom in, find it. What would be really useful is something that tracks where the damn pieces are. I have 4-year-olds. The pieces are all over the house. So you're like,
Legos hurt more than stumping your toe on the side of the wall. Stepping on a Lego?
Oh, yeah, they got some really sharp. Yeah, the corners are rough. Yeah, so if so then step 2, 1, identify where they are. Step 2, get them out of the way.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool, and I think I understood that you could maybe take pictures of it and like then incorporate it into some app. So if you made a little car and then you're doing a little car racing and so.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Kind of cool. Next, Amazon Fire Phone. So you talked about that a little bit. Mm-hmm. One of the features that they have, which is pretty cool, and it's kind of surprising it doesn't exist yet, or I don't know, it's very weird, is called Dynamic Perspective. And I saw a video a long time ago of Dynamic Perspective. Basically what it does is it knows where you're looking and where you're looking from. So as you move it around in relative to your position, your vision, then it gives it shows you the 3D perspective that would exist of that image in that position relative to you. So it gives you the feeling like when you shift over and you can look around a tree or whatever. That was the video that they have was just awesome. And then I already mentioned the Google deep linking into apps. So that is the potatoes of our podcast. It is now time to get into the meat.
We'll get into the meat of today's podcast. I want to give a punch in the face to, and excuse me if I screw your name up, dude, Guilami.
Okay, so that could be like Guillami.
Could be Guillami.
Yeah, we'll go with Guillami.
Guillami Bouchard.
Yeah, I like that. That was good.
We'll go with that one. Guillami, punch in the face to you, man. Guillami put out an article called 6 Reasons for Your Lack of Content Marketing Success.
Okay.
6 reasons for your lack. Keyword lack, meaning not having, without, right? Lack of content marketing success. I found this article on Search Engine Watch. And it was already getting some pretty good traction, so I figured, let's bring it to you guys. Pretty good article. So number one, he says one of the first reason for your lack of content marketing success is a lack of planning, all right, which is kind of consistent with what we've been talking about over the past few weeks. We've been dealing with content.
So is it possible to throw content against the wall and see if it sticks? Because we always talk about...
It's possible, but it probably won't stick.
We always talk about don't throw money against the wall and see if it sticks. Don't throw $200 at PPC and then $100 at SEO. Just never throw $100 at SEO anyway. And
that's
you
how
know,
you get bad links. and the algorithm penalty.
It's a great way to purchase bad, like
it's a great way to get banned.
Results. Yeah. Find as many vendors who will do SEO for you for $100 a piece, and you'll be off the search engines in no time. So we say don't have a plan. That's what we talk about. So content, same thing. Like don't just throw content against the wall and hope some of it sticks. Have this plan, create the structure that makes, and I'm sure he's going to get into that.
Yeah, he says creating a strategy that is clear and with foresight is essential for your success. And he goes on to say success in content marketing begins with having a well-detailed content strategy that clearly defines objectives, terms, roles, and responsibilities. And I totally agree with this. If you're in a position and you have to create content for a site or for some sort of marketing plan, regardless of if your company provides a product, let's say, or a specific service, like you could be a product selling cologne or retail stuff, shoes or whatever, or you could be a service where you do AC repair or criminal attorney or, you know, plumbing repair, whatever it is. Yeah, whatever your product or service is, the content that you create and eventually publish, plan it. Plan for research. Plan to figure out what background information you're going to need in this article or this video or this graphic. Figure out what colors you're going to use. Figure out the voice you're going to use, and plan for that type of stuff. So that way you won't be last minute cramming, trying to throw it all together.
Come up with a unique strategy, like the article that we covered last time. What your mom said, or what your mom told you, and how it applies to content marketing.
Definitely, yeah. Check out 240 about that. So number two, lack of listening, and we're talking 6 reasons why your lack of content marketing success. For your lack of content marketing success, you have a lack of listening, which is number 2. He goes on to say, taking time to understand what your customers really want to see or read. That's important. I mean, when you're not listening, communication is a two-way street.
Yep.
In order for me to talk to you, I have to listen to you. And so a lot of times people are creating content and they're publishing content, but they're not really listening to what their readers want to hear or what they're vibing to, what they really like. They're just putting out what the boss wants.
Yep.
Or what they feel they should be putting out. And so take some time. How do you listen to your readers, right? Read comments.
Yeah.
People will usually tell you in the comment what they didn't or did like about your article.
Ask for comments.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Survey your audience.
Yeah.
And so maybe you have an opportunity to reach out to people and say, hey, did you like what I posted? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Was it the headline? Was it the content? Was it too long? Was it too short? That sort of information. Survey them and get that feedback so you can use that when creating and publishing your content. Number 3, 6 reasons for your lack of content marketing success. Your third reason is a lack of agility, the ability to move, shake, and be, agile. He goes on to say the lack of agility generated by a very complex chain of command like legal or PR engineering can really kill any good content marketing strategy. He's absolutely correct. I believe this is the reason. This is the reason why the Heat lost. They had a lack of agility from the coach Eric Spoelstra's perspective.
Right.
When Popovich was making changes and doing things during the game situation, Coach Spoelstra failed to be agile in his decision making, and therefore the Heat couldn't succumb to the changes the Spurs was making.
He failed to accept the cold hard facts that the game plan going in wasn't working.
Yeah, you got to change.
Time to change the game
and
plan.
So that lack of agility. So I'll say this: I'll react quickly, right? But more than just reacting quickly, I'll say react quickly about across all mediums. And I'll give you a good example. So it's a big thing going on Facebook right now, this gospel challenge, right? And so with the gospel challenge, hashtag gospel challenge, people are, giving their kind of testimony, they're singing it,
right.
or, I chose to rap mine.
Right.
I rap,
of course.
But that was on Facebook. Take it across all mediums. it was like a 40-second video on Facebook. Took 15 seconds of that, put it on Instagram.
Right.
Instagram video started gaining traction, getting likes and people getting reposts. Oh, agile factor kicked in.
Yeah.
Take another 15 seconds
seconds,
of it. Put that one on Instagram. And so now both mediums have the same exact content and they're both gaining traction. That's being agile. Next step I'm gonna do is take all of those and put them in a blog post and call it #Gospel Challenge from me and post it. And that way all the things will be there. So be agile. Your lack of agility can derail your content marketing strategy. If people are responding to your content, if people are sharing it and posting it, you need to be in a position to comment immediately, to ask questions, to maybe post more content relative to that while it's buzzing, while it's hot. If you wait till it's cold, then it's too late.
Cold.
Number 4 of reasons of why your lack of content marketing success. Number 4 is your lack of focus on loyalty. It's a good one. He says, be loyal to your consumers. Prioritize gradual, constant action over the one-time, high-risk, big-budget campaigns. And I agree.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes a big-budget, high-risk campaign is necessary. Maybe a Super Bowl, right, or something like that, where it's that one-time opportunity to get in front of, 1 billion people, and so you do something. But for the rest of the year, don't forget the little guys. Right. Is what I wrote down. The people who pay the bills. Those people who always come, they always get your content. It may not be big budget, but they're keeping cash flow coming in. They're happy. They're generating referrals, things like that. Like, target them. Those are your loyal people, because at the end of the day, once the Super Bowl buzz, a week after that, 2 weeks after that,
hopefully
hopefully it worked.
Took advantage of it to its fullest, and then now you're like, what?
Exactly. So don't forget your little guys. The lack of focus on loyalty. Number 5, a lack of modesty. I like this one. This is really good. He says your consumers aren't stupid. Millennials are the tech-savvy generation. And I agree. People are a lot smarter these days in regards to what's being presented to them. It's easy to tell what's real and what's fake. Who's being honest, who's lying, who has integrity, who doesn't, right? And with social media and the internet and all these other things, it's easier to find out. Not only is it easier to tell, it's easier to find out. And so what I wrote down was be real, because people know when you're being fake. Kind of like Jim Carrey.
Right.
I like Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Great actor, hilarious.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know if he was ever in a real serious role, if I could take it seriously.
Right, because he's always been this goofball. Yeah.
What's the lady's name? Applewhite, the white chick from Married with Children.
Christina Applegate.
Applegate.
Yeah.
Like, she can't take a serious, smart role to me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And she's probably a great actress.
Yeah.
But Married with Children gave me this dumb blonde.
Yeah, like she played it to the hilt and
that's her.
Stuck.
It's every time I see her, that's the role. And so when she's being serious,
every time you see her, like, why does she have so many clothes on?
Like, why are you being smart? And so and that's because people, that's the modesty. People know what's real and what's fake. And so stick to that. Don't come out with your content trying to be something that you aren't, because people will know that you aren't that. Instead, be who you are, present your products, present your services in a way that represents you and your company, and find loyal customers that way.
Be consistent, right?
Definitely. If you're being consistent, then that modesty won't even matter, because you've always put out the same quality or the same type of content.
Yep.
Maybe your consistency sucks, meaning you consistently suck. And at least you're consistent.
Start over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Number 6, and this is the last one, lack of testing. And we're talking 6 reasons for your lack of content marketing success. Number 6 is your lack of testing. Don't be afraid to test something different and pray that it works. He goes on to say again, being aware of your weaknesses is always a good step towards bettering your content marketing performance. I totally agree with that one, Mr. Bouchard. Make sure you understand where you're weak at and strengthen in that area. Get stronger in that area. Practice in that area. And don't be afraid to test something. I wrote down test, and then test again. Like test, ads. Test DKI, test landing pages, test content, test graphics. But more importantly, and this is the last thing I wrote down in the summary, make sure you have the right goals and things in place so you can accurately check what you're testing. You need to make sure that this landing page does work over that one. You need to make sure that the goals and the conversions that you're getting from your campaign is actually working. And you won't know that if you don't have the right analytics and tracking tools in place to actually do that. So punch in the face to you, Guillaume Bouchard. 6 reasons for your lack of content marketing success. I'll post this on Facebook and Twitter and do everything that I just said you should do.
I'd like to add another one.
Go ahead.
Lack of creativity.
Lack of creativity.
Right? So that's really what
I had. The extra one I had was lack of interest.
Yeah, it's just not interesting. What you're doing is not interesting because it's not like the last article. You know what your mom always told you, or whatever the title was, and how it applies to content marketing. That's creative. Come up with something unrelated to what you're actually going to talk about, and show analogies. It's a great way to kind of get people thinking. Actually, it's a great way to get over writer's block too.
Yeah.
Right? Stop just writing about whatever you currently write about. Read some headline somewhere else.
Do something
in a
totally
totally different industry, and then suck that in and figure out how to make it work for your particular topic that you're going to try and cover.
Yeah, be creative. That way your content doesn't sound like somebody else's content who sounds like somebody else's content.
Yeah.
I mean, because at the end of the day, if you're in an industry that's, let's say, overly competitive, right, then whatever new thing happens, then everybody, including you and your competitors, are all talking about it. You have to differentiate yourself from them.
Yep.
And you do that by being creative.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. So that is the meat of our podcast. Do we have any what? I've got a little.
Okay.
Yeah. What? So this is a World Cup what?
World Cup what?
So Spain comes into the World Cup #1 in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Tough loss.
First match, 5-4. I think it was 4-1, 4 or 5-1 against the Netherlands. They shouldn't even have had the one goal. It was a bogus penalty kick. You know, that's one of I actually really like that about soccer, is that bad calls stick. Right? That's just how it is. There's no video replay. It's like, it's a bad call, and for the rest of history,
that's the
whatever.
bad call.
Spain should have not scored any in their first game. Then they go on to play Chile. This is the #1 team. I think Netherlands is like #3, so that's okay competition. You shouldn't get blown out.
Yeah.
And they lose to Chile.
And what was Chile's rank?
Chile's ranked.
I could have made the Chile squad.
I wouldn't go that far. You got a lot of heart. You just have never played soccer. If you have played soccer even once, yes. Sorry, all my Chilean friends. That's obviously not true. So they lose to Chile. Like, Chile throttles them, and wow, that was that's what. Yeah. It happens every now and then. And all right, anything else?
That's almost equivalent to the Heat losing 4-1.
Yeah, 4 in a row, straight out. Like what? You got all this way in nothing. All right, so remember, this podcast has been broadcast live from 55999 West 34th Street, Suite 106.
5599?
Well, I started my home address, and then I switched over to the actual address. Houston, Texas, 77092.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been podcast number 241. We are the best SEO podcast. That is because of you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for submitting reviews. Thank you for interacting with us. Thank you for being patient with us.
Thank you.
Thank
really appreciate
you.
it. Like really, real talk.
Absolutely. Until the next podcast, my name is Chris Burrows.
Charles Lewis.
Bye-bye for now.